Bam, right there. How's it going, guys? Token Vaping. So today's review is a device review that I was fortunate enough to be able to have the opportunity to do, and this is for a good friend of mine. I've had the honor, a pleasure of meeting, getting to know a little bit. The gentleman's name is Alex. He's the owner-operator to Vape Aura down in Claremont in California. Great guy, amazing shop, great feel of the place, just very welcoming, very you know, your home type style feel. So if you're in that area, definitely check them out. Even if you want to check out the website, order stuff from them, check out their Facebook, Instagram, things like that. But the device that I got a chance to review is the Skystar Revvo, R-E-V-V-O kit. And this is the mod itself, and it's got a cool smoky type camo sticker style to it. But the device itself is pretty solid, don't get me wrong. There's a better focus shot. But the thing about this kit that I was really interested in is the tank that comes on it in the kit. This is the Revvo tank. This has a new innovative style coil that I actually got to see firsthand at an expo in Washington. The two gentlemen from Aspire were there, and they were showing it off and everything else. So I was really interested in that. But basically, what it is, it looks like a stovetop coil. It's a radial style coil. So this is the coil style like this. And then basically it is a round circular coil. And the trick to this, the reason why, is it gives a much wider cotton area to basically juice up, disperse for a better flavor, vapor production and things. So we're definitely going to check that out. But this is what it looks like. And it's really, really different. There's the cotton on top, and then you've got the coil part on the bottom. And it literally looks like a stovetop coil, hence the name. It's rated at about a 0.1 to a 0.16. So wattage range wise, they say it's about 50 to 100 watts. Optimal point is about 80, 85, which is what I normally vape when it comes to tanks and things like that. So it's definitely in a mid-range wattage. I will have to look into see if they have coils that are stronger, but this is meant to be more of a flavor hitter and give you a decent amount of clouds. So we'll jump into that real quick and I'll show you the tank itself. But the device itself, like I said, is pretty standard. It is really nice and ergonomic. It is very smooth, and it fits really well in the hands. And it has a two magnet door back to it, sled wise like this, and the positive and negatives are marked very clearly, so you have absolutely no problem basically putting your batteries in, you know, properly in the right format. And then it says Aspire Skystar, and then there is the screen. Now it is a touchscreen. It's a 1.3 inch touchscreen, and if you swipe down on it twice, you go into the different modes. You got your modes or settings, your data, the system settings, and your time. And this does have a clock on when it's in basically sleep mode, so to speak. After you fire it, it'll basically pop your wattage and everything, and then it does that. So it goes, and you can do digital or analog, and it's kind of nice. I mean, normally once you set it, the time on it's pretty accurate. But I mean, it's a cute little addition to it. But you know, most people use their cell phones or have watches, things like that, for time wise. But it is a nice little add-on type thing like that. And then once you hit the fire button, it'll go back into your screen. So if you want to do a touch screen, you just hit watts, and then it'll go back into this setting in here. And then it has the screens, the standard, everything else, battery meter on the bottom, your wattage. It does have personal settings on there as well, if you want to go into your modes. And then it has the temp control, bypass, which basically just direct to the battery, voltage, and then wattage. So for the different people, your different preferences and things like that. If you go back into it and go into system, you can change the watch time or when for how long it shows, screen time before it blacks out, brightness if you want to tone it down, and then the vape time if you want to change the amount of time that it takes on there. But it does have, I mean, and then you can set the time on the clock. So it does have a little bit to offer. It has a bunch of security standards featured on it, and if you go to aspire.com, and it basically will list everything that's on there for you. But it has automatic cutoff, over discharge, overcharge, short circuit, overheat, battery reverse protection as for the safety features, because they're all about safety and they want to make sure that it's completely safe and easy to use for the user. So there is the star that I was looking forward to. This is a tank. It is a 3.6 mil tank. There is a TPD compliant version that is a 2 mil, I believe. This is the larger of the two. To change the glass, it's simply just unscrewing this top cap here and then you unscrew the screw on here, and it'll slide this off, and you can pop the glass out. This is the brand new glass that comes in the kit, so there's no reason for me to change it. This right here looks really different, and this is the innovation of the coil that I'm going to show you. But basically, this upside down cone looking tip here, you unscrew off, and this is how you put the coil on, and the coil just pops on. Like so, and then you just press it down to seal it. And it's the funky design that goes on the top part. The open cotton end goes on the bottom. And then you just screw this back on for a tight fit. And just has to be snug, finger tight. You don't have to crank on it or anything like that. Now, the reason why this is so different and innovative is that this little part in the center right here, it pushes down, and that's how you fill that. And if you can see it right there, you see the holes on the bottom, they're open right now. If you push down on this, it shows that they're closing off, but it's actually open to fill. There's other little holes in there where the juice will flow into the tank, and I'll show you that here in a second. But it's really different because you just press down on this little center column with the tip of your unicorn bottle, an eyedropper bottle will work, anything like that. You just depress down on that as you're filling, and it'll fill up the tank, and then you let up when you're done. And it basically is supposed to be almost leak proof. I haven't actually filled it and turned it upside down for a while to see if that holds, but it definitely does seal it a lot better than one might think it does. But the nice thing about that as well is when you have the tap screwed onto it, as such like this, you can actually just fit a unicorn bottle tip or the eyedropper bottle straight down there, so you never actually have to take the cap off unless you want to change the glass out, or you want to dump juice out in there, or have to change the coil. Airflow is from the top. There's 3 holes right there that you can adjust. Of course, I do like mine fully open, but let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and fill the tank for the use of this to show you. And the flavor I'm using right now is Angel's Kiss from a company called Black Edition Liquids. I have done a review for them before. You can definitely check that out on my YouTube channel. This is their strawberry cheesecake flavor. So now you go just straight into the middle tip part, and if you deep press down on it just slightly, you'll feel a give. You squeeze your juice, and as you can see, it's filling up the tank. And it really is that simple. But then when you're done with that, all you have to do is, while you're squeezing it, just kind of depress off the little style, and then just let go, and it basically will sit like that. And then you just have to let it soak a few seconds. You can do your gravity draw on that pole if you want to close off the air hole vents. Very airy with the 3 holes, so for people who like a lot of airflow, this definitely is going to be right up your alley. But go ahead and just attach and screw that on as normal. Now, one thing I do like about the device itself is that it is centered. Everybody's so used to the off center of the RDA and the tank like that, but it's centered. So overall setup like that is actually a pretty nice setup. But like I said, it is a 3.6 mil tank, so it will hold a decent amount, just depending on how much you vape. And then go ahead, and if you swipe upwards, you go into your wattage change. And like I said, it is a touchscreen, so this I'm going to put up to 85, just because that says what it's optimum between 80 and 85. And then we'll go ahead and vape on this. And like I said, it is a new coil, so it's going to have a little bit of a cotton. I don't suggest doing that, but just for the sake of the video, I just want to go ahead and show that to you. And then as you can see like this, when they say that it's leak, so if you just hold it, and some tanks, I mean, automatically right off the bat, they can start dripping or anything like this. The way that this is set up, it is designed to hold the juice in better so that you don't have to worry about leaking issues, especially with the top airflow on top. So that is a benefit to this style tank as well. The top airflow may be a little different for some people, especially if you're used to a lot of bottom airflow devices, things like that. So this might take a little bit of getting used to, but it doesn't affect it in a negative way, in my opinion. It's just something a little different. Definitely no shortage of clouds on that whatsoever. Flavor took a couple of seconds, obviously, because it was a new coil, but the flavor is definitely packing a punch in this. and overall it's just really nice. In the kit, you get 2 coils, the tank, the device. You get your advice on filling the tank. You have your warranty card. You have just a little battery safety card in here, which is always nice to have. You get a bunch of extra seals. You get your charge cord, a spare piece of glass, and then you have a cap cover. And basically this is kind of, you just wrap this around your tank, and then it has a little plug on the end of it that you can use to stick into the top part of the tank, the Delrin tip area, for people who, you know, if they let it sit on the counter or on a bar or something, they don't want to have dust or, you know, things like that get into it. It can put on there. I know people who use it. I know people who don't. It's just a preference as to whether it's something that you like or you don't. But overall, it's not a bad device. I like the way that it feels. The button isn't hard to reach. You don't have to feel like you have to shift it around or have to have huge fingers or long fingers to be able to get that button. It just depends on how you hold it. The tank itself, I mean, there are so many tanks out on the market right now, so it's really going to come down to a preference. This definitely is different with that stovetop coil. Flavor-wise, it definitely packs a hit on the flavor. And so if you are a big flavor person, this will definitely work in your favor. Vapor production, with 3 air holes when they're fully open, I mean, you're definitely going to have vapor production. There's no doubt about that. It's not anything that you're going to have to be short on. And like I said, that's at 85 watts. The coil will go higher, but as with all tanks in that style, once you start pushing past the optimal range, you definitely run into the chance of burning the coil out sooner over later. I know a few people that have been using this tank, and they said they've gotten a coil to last them, you know, between 2 to 3 weeks at, you know, about 80 watts, 85 watts. You're probably looking about roughly about 2 weeks. Some people may be able to make it last longer depending on the type of juice you use. The VG percentage definitely plays a factor in that as well. But maintenance wise on this device, it's not very hard. Like I said, you know, the setup on it's pretty simplistic. The tank is pretty basic as far as the setup of it. The coil is definitely new and unique to the style of vaping, as in general everybody's used to the little stout column type coils. So this is definitely different. You just have to find out, you know, if your local shop will carry the coils to provide for these as well. There are a bunch of other places that you can order them if you need so in a pinch. The 510 connection is spring loaded, so it definitely does a good contact point, and it's a nice vape. It's smooth, definitely flavorful packed, and you can also tone, like I said, you can tone down the airflow if you want. This is about half all the way around, so on 3 air holes that's about half. So definitely get a much bigger cloud production off that. Flavor tends to get it seems a little more slighted on it that way without having it fully open. Again, I prefer it fully open, so that definitely works for me. But overall, it's another solid kit built by Aspire. They're known for making, you know, rock solid devices that are dependable. They work really well. They handle whatever you need them to do for you. But definitely check it out. Like I said, this I was able to do a review on for Vapora in Claremont, California. Alex, thank you guys so very much. You and the rest of your staff. Amazing people, amazing shop. Definitely check them out. Check out their Facebook and Instagram as well. But if you're looking for something a bit smaller than some of the bulkier box mods that are out there, it's a 2 battery device, 2 standard 18650s, nice solid little tank, definitely good on flavor, definitely good on cloud. So it's a nice all around, you know, all day carry device if you are looking for something like that. As always, guys, I'm Token Vaping. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Always truly love yourself. Vape on, vape strong. Have a good one.